Chapter 134, Spirit Beast Duel. Don't believe it. Kang Chong coldly glared at the 9 princesses. His eyes flickered with burning anger. This 9 princesses had even forced him in order to help the Li family. Looking at Kang Chong, who was glaring at him, the 9th princess' face sank, her eyes transmitting an icy cold light. And immediately, the terrifying pressure increased once again, pressing down like the Yangtze River. Boom! Right at this moment, a tall black figure blocked in front of Kang Chong, and a powerful aura erupted like a flood, completely shaking the 9th princess' oppressive pressure out. Yuanying stage puppet. The 9th princess retreated several steps in a row, her beautiful eyes staring incredulously at the black figure in front of Kang Chong. The black puppet stood coldly in front of Kang Chong, its icy gaze staring at the shocked 9th princess across the room. As long as Xiaojing gave the order, it would attack without hesitation. In the black puppet's hand was a long black blade. The blade's body flickered with light, exuding a chilling aura, causing the temperature in the entire hall to drop quite a bit. Princess Nine's face was incomparably shocked. She didn't think that Kang Chong would have such a powerful puppet. This was completely out of her expectation. It should be known that according to her investigation, Kang Chong didn't have any powerful background, but was merely a small family descendant of Heavy Iron City, and that family had already perished. Because of this, she did not have a single scruple. Even though she knew that Jin San Xiao and Kang Chong had a good relationship, she still did not care. At this moment, Kang Chong stood behind the black golem, with a deep expression on his face. The 9 princess pressure was cancelled out by the black golem, and he no longer felt a trace of discomfort. Just a moment ago, he communicated with Little Gold in the reverse heavenly cauldron to allow the black puppet to descend. Otherwise, he would not have been able to resist the 9 princesses' pressure. The cultivation gap between the 2 sides was too great. Good Overlord, we all underestimated you. I didn't expect you to possess such a puppet. The 9th princess looked at Kang Chong coldly. A trace of scorn flashed in her eyes. This powerful puppet in front of her made her feel a strong threat. Kang Chong indifferently glanced at the 9th princess, then waved his hand. A burst of light flashed, and the black puppet instantly disappeared. Seeing this scene, the 9th princess's eyes shrunk slightly. She clearly felt a violent fluctuation, which meant that Kang Chong possessed a space-type high-level magic treasure, which was something. The average son of a great family didn't have this kind of magic treasure. It seems that this kid's origin is not as simple as it appears. The 9 princesses thought secretly in her heart. Kang Chong put away the black puppet, his indifferent gaze once again at the 9th princess. His voice was incomparably cold as he said, "9th princess, remember that you are the 9th princess of the royal family of the Great Tang Kingdom, not the 9th princess of the Li clan. I hope that you won't force me to the opposite side of the Great Tang Kingdom." At those words, the 9th princess' face immediately sank, her icy eyes staring at Kang Chong. "Are you threatening this palace? Don't think that with just a mere puppet you want to go against the Great Tang Kingdom's royal family," Princess Nine said coldly. "I'm not trying to go against the Great Tang Kingdom's royal family. My enemy is only the Li family. I hope you don't forget your own identity. Farewell." Kang Chong smiled indifferently, then turned to leave. The 9th princess stared grimly at Kang Chong's back, her face incomparably ugly. The ground beneath her feet cracked open with a huge fissure, clearly being greatly affected by the tone of Kang Chong's words. "Kang Chong, this palace remembers you." Killing intent burst out from the 9th princess' eyes. At once, the temperature of the entire hall chilled to the extreme. The imperial capital's Li mansion. The Li family head was talking with Li Yuanba when suddenly the voice of a guard came from outside. Reporting to the family head, "There is a secret letter from the 9th princess," the guard said respectfully. The Li family head and Li Yuanba stopped talking at once. They glanced at each other. And then Li Yuanba coldly shouted at the outside, "Quickly send it up." As Li Yuanba's words fell, the guard presented a yellow letter. Li Yuanba took it and opened it. His eyes could not help but shrink and his face changed greatly. "Bear, what's wrong? Did Xiaoju say something?" When the Li family head saw Li Yuanba's expression, he could not help but frown. His heart was very strange. He rarely saw Li Yuanba with this expression yet. "Father, look." Li Yuanba handed the letter to the Li family head. The Li family head took the letter and looked at it. His eyes similarly shrunk. A look of gravity surfaced on his face as he said in a deep voice, "No wonder that punk Zhonglai failed. It can't be blamed on him." Possessing a puppet at the peak of the Yuanying stage level, this Kangxian's bottom line is not what we thought. It seems that he's hiding it very deeply. "Father, but didn't our people find out clearly? This brat is only a small family in Heavy Iron City. Their patriarch has only just stepped into the Jiden stage. How can such a family possess such a puppet?" Li Yuanba frowned. "Perhaps we have all gone into the wrong area. This kid's family may not be good, but he is bound to have an unfathomable master." A light of wisdom flickered in the eyes of the Li clan's head. Li Yuanba was shocked at his words. "Father, are you saying that this brat's master is a mysterious powerhouse? To be able to possess a puppet at the peak Yuanying stage level? Wouldn't this person's cultivation be at least at the outbreeding stage?" He couldn't help but think of Jin Sanxiao's relationship with Kangxian. With his understanding of Jin Sanxiao would never do a losing deal. It was obvious that Jin Sanxiao had long known that Kangxian's background wasn't simple, and that's why he had deliberately helped. Out-of-body stage or, even if they, the Li family, were faced with this kind of powerhouse, they had to treat it with gravity. The head of the Li family said calmly, "That may not be the case. Perhaps this brat was lucky and got some kind of strange encounter." Li Yuanba's eyes immediately lit up. "Right? How could an out-of-body stage powerhouse come to such a small place like the Dotong Kingdom? Maybe it's really that boy Kangxian who was lucky and got some kind of strange encounter." He couldn't help but feel a pang of envy and jealousy. Peak Yuanying stage puppet are. With this kind of puppet, one would practically be walking horizontally in the Dotong Kingdom. No matter what, since the 9th princess has failed, then we will proceed as planned and kill him in public on the life and death stage. The Li family head said indifferently. "Well, 7th uncle should be coming out of the gate." Li Yuanba nodded. Right at this moment, a powerful aura emanated from the Li family's backyard. "Ha ha ha." A burst of unrestrained laughter came out. The powerful aura immediately startled the entire Li family crowd. The Li family head and Li Yuanba immediately stood up excitedly. Old 7 has broken through to the 9th level of the Jiden stage. Ha ha ha. This time Kangxian will die for sure. The Li family head sneered. Li Yuanba also revealed a morose glow. Jin Mansion. After Kangxian returned from the palace, he greeted Jin Sanxiao and returned to his residence. Grandpa Wang Tixiong was still refining that spiritual weapon flying sword, because spiritual weapons were very difficult to refine, especially for someone with ordinary qualifications like Wang Tixiong. It was very tough to refine. Without half a month's effort, I'm afraid it would be difficult to succeed. Kangxian did not disturb Grandpa, but returned to his house and began to adjust his state. This time, the 9 princesses had touched him greatly, and he found that he was still too weak when facing these strong people. Breaking through the Jiden stage was already unstoppable, as he could no longer endure that feeling of being oppressed by others. Emperor Dan was still refining the 9 revolutions, Great Restoration Pill, and the Reverse Heavenly Cauldron, and Little Gold was also cultivating in it. Kangxian's cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9 revolutions, and there was no progress to be made by cultivating any further, so he began to comprehend the 20% of the intentions that he had comprehended and endeavored to adjust his state to the peak. Only then could he approach the upcoming heavenly tribulation of the Jiden stage with a normal mind. For half a month in a row, Kangxian did not take half a step out of the Jin mansion or even out of the house. He was immersed in cultivation. When Jin Sanxiao learnt of this, he did not disturb his cultivation either. He knew that the challenge Kang Chon was about to face was very tough, and he absolutely could not have a hint of relaxation at this time. Jin San Xiao even ordered those maids to just deliver meals on time and not to disturb Kang Chon's cultivation. After a few more days, Wang Tixiong finally refined that spirit weapon flying sword and woke up from his cultivation. No wonder this flying sword is so difficult to refine. It turns out to be a spiritual weapon. Rumor has it that spiritual weapons are incomparably powerful. Only some of the descendants of the great families and Yuanying stage powerhouses can possess them. Chona has actually given me this spiritual weapon. Wang Tixiong was very touched in his heart. Before this, Kang Chon did not tell him that this was a spirit weapon. At this time, the spirit weapon had already been refined by him. Unless he died or promoted to the Yuanying stage, this spirit weapon could not even be transferred. He knew that this was Kang Chon's bitterness, and his heart was both touched and gratified. Where is Chona? Wang Tixiong went to the courtyard and did not find Kang Chon's silhouette. He could not help but be puzzled for a while. But immediately he saw that Kang Chon was cultivating in his house. Chona will soon break through the Jiden stage. I'd better not disturb him. Wang Tixiong thought about it and then retreated alone. Time passed slowly as the day of the appointment between Kang Chon and Li Laoqi approached. The atmosphere in the imperial capital began to be tense, and even the common people felt an unspeakable oppression. There are many cultivators in the imperial capital. All the restaurants and inns are full. Some cultivators even live in the homes of the common people, making the vast imperial capital look crowded during this period of time. In every restaurant and inn, countless cultivators were talking about nothing more than the battle between Kang Chon and Li Laoqi. Some of the casinos in the imperial capital began to open early. This time Kang Chon wasn't underestimated, but he wasn't overestimated either. The odds between him and Li Laoqi were about the same, with Li Laoqi holding just a slight advantage. This was because Overlord Kang Chon's name had already resounded throughout the Great Tang Kingdom. Even when he fought with the older generation of experts, the crowd did not underestimate Kang Chon. But after all, Li Laoqi was an old generation expert and had the support of the Li family, so many people still favored him. In short, right now, the two people's voices were similar, and Li Laoqi was only using the might of the Li family to gain a little advantage. How exactly? The crowd was still looking forward to the upcoming battle. At this time, from the life and death platform completely built, only a few days left. That huge life and death platform fell in the northwest of the imperial capital. Occupies 1,000 miles of land, looks incomparable spectacular. On weekdays, there were already quite a few cultivators who couldn't help but come here first to watch. Clanged on this day, a mellifluous bell sounded from the heavenly Dao bell tower, and instantly, the entire imperial capital boiled over as all the cultivators converged towards the life and death stage. A month's time had come and gone, and the huge life and death platform had been completed. In the Li mansion, an old man with grey hair walked out of the mansion. Behind him was a group of Li family experts, and one of the four masters of the imperial capital, Li Yuanba, was also clearly amongst them. Dozens of people in great numbers traveled to the life and death platform. Jin Mansion. Kang Chon, who was in the midst of cultivation, violently opened his eyes, and between the blinking of his eyes, two icy cold lights were shot out. The disgrace from 3 years ago, today, will make you pay back 100 times over. An icy cold voice resounded in the house. An invincible domineering aura shot straight up into the sky, instantly startling the entire Jin mansion. Kang Chon, Chona. When Kang Chon walked out of the house, Wang Tixiong, Jin San Xiao, Lei Yun, Hua Wanyong, Liu Suifeng, and the others had already been waiting in the courtyard, and everyone looked at Kang Chon, who had walked out, with an excited expression.